The stronger your connection with your audience, the stronger your podcast becomes. So, in this episode, I'll be revealing a framework that will allow you to significantly grow your downloads by simply understanding your audience on a deeper level. Hey everyone, welcome to Impact Podcaster Academy. My name is Alec Katzen, and I help podcasters create more impact and income with their show without them needing to rely on sponsors or going viral. So I want to start off with a little bit of a story here. So back in high school, my mom would occasionally remind me to clean my room. You know, you're in high school, you always got to clean your room. It's never clean enough. So the thing that was odd is that I never saw my room as being messy. You know, it was just piles of clothes that were organized in a way that maybe she didn't recognize, you know? But anyway, I'm getting besides the point. So there was a week where my room, honestly, it was getting a little out of hand. It was getting messy, but it was because I was spending a lot of time doing research for a school assignment. Now, my desk, although it was messy, it did have some structure to it. I knew which pile of papers went where and, you know, what purpose it served. And my mom, she knew I was working really hard. So while I was at school, she thought to herself, oh, well, you know, maybe I can help by cleaning his room. A clean room, clean mind, he'll be able to get his work done more quickly. And by clean, you know, didn't just mean she was folding clothes and putting them away. No, she cleared out everything in that room. She cleared off my desk. She reorganized all the items in the room. She even decided to throw some things out in the trash that she saw was laying around. And you can kind of see where this is going. Despite my mom's best intentions to help me out, when I came home from school, I went to my room and my jaw dropped. I was like, where all my hard work for my assignment, where'd it go? And I was looking and it was either lost, it was just stuff was in the wrong place, or it was just simply thrown out. So it sucked because I knew she was just trying to help me out, but you know, it's obviously made things way more difficult. And so anyway, I thanked my mom for trying to help. I told her, I was like, if you had just asked me what I needed help with instead of assuming, then I wouldn't have this mess to deal with. And she was like, oh, well, I'm sorry. How can I help now? How would you like me to help? And I was like, well, I'm kind of hungry. Could I get some Chipotle? But anyway, all joking aside, what I want you to get from this short little story is that you got to ask your audience about what they want and what they're struggling with if you really want to help them. And I call this concept the big ask, you know, and the steps are pretty simple. You got to first build rapport with your audience. Then you got to ask them about what their biggest struggles are. Third, you got to ask them what their brightest dreams are. You know, what is it? What's the outcome? What's the goal that they want? And then the fourth thing is you got to deliver it to them, to give them what they need. And following this structure, you know, it's really allowed me to create a lot of great products, a lot of great content for my own audience to, you know, live workshops that lasted hours. It's allowed me to discern what topics of books to write next. In fact, the most recent book, How to grow and monetize your podcast with Instagram. I wrote that because literally I had asked hundreds of podcasters well, hey, what do you want to learn more about how to do? And they're like, I want to, learn how to use Instagram, grow my podcast. And I was like, all right, boom, done. I'll make that for you. So when you do this right, your audience will think that oh my gosh, this guy's got divine abilities. How is he able to know what I need? But in reality, it's kind of well, it's I asked you. How would I not know what you need? I just simply asked. It's kind of like a parent who got their kids the perfect Christmas gift, but the way they did that is because they just got the list that the kid wrote to Santa, and then they just looked at the list. They're like, can't get that, can't get, okay, I'll get them that. And then boom, kid wakes up on Christmas, and they're like, holy cow, this is amazing. How'd you know? And it's like, dude, you wrote it down on a piece of paper. But anyway, but the downside is when you fail to do this properly, you're going to end up in the same position that my mom was. And at best, your content might go unnoticed, or at worst, you may actually make problems worse for people. So actually, I have a funny example of that. So do you remember when Facebook was always, they were updating their website layout every couple months? And it just seemed every time that they came out with a new update or a new look for the Facebook layout, everyone online, they were like, yo, this is Mark. this is too confusing, man. No one asked for this. And despite all the negative feedback, I really doubt that Facebook was like trying to have their design team make something bad for people. In fact, I really bet that the team that was working on the updates, they were spending probably countless hours trying to create a layout with features that they genuinely thought was going to make things better for people. So fortunately, Facebook got the hint, and they've significantly slowed down with updating the layouts and things like that. And fortunately for you, there's a real simple way of collecting the right information that you need before spending time, energy, and money to produce something that might get lackluster results. And the best way to do that is by following the big ask steps. You got to build rapport with those who could be your perfect followers, and don't build rapport with them for selfish reasons to just simply follow. You gotta get to genuinely know them on like a really deeper level. And then the more you know them and you can understand where they're coming from, the more likely they are to actually take the time to get to know you and the things that you offer. There's actually a quote from Theodore Roosevelt where he's like, "No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care." And it's very true. So after you build rapport with your perfect followers, you'll then follow the second and third step, which is to start asking them questions to understand what their struggles are, and then also understand like what their goals are, like what is the dream outcome that they want to reach. And this is important because it'll really play into the transformational journey framework that I've been talking about. So by knowing your audience's struggles, you'll know what things are currently preoccupying their minds. After knowing what problems that they have, and after defining like what their goals and their dreams are for their future, then you'll be able to use those two things, and you can begin to create this bridge from where they're at to where they want to go. And this bridge is going to be built with your content. It's going to be built with products and services. You're going to be providing them the roadmap to get them what they want. So where most people go wrong with this is they begin to build without adequately knowing where it should start and where it should end. And the result is a bridge that either doesn't connect from one side to the other, or it can simply just not bear the weight of itself. And like most people who burn out trying to do too much, it's just going to collapse. See? So to help you build like a really solid bridge, I have a couple questions that you can ask people who you believe are your perfect followers. Now, what I would recommend you do is get at least like 5 people who are willing and able to purchase from you, or could be willing, could be able to purchase from you. And you got to ask them these questions. And if you need more data, then a really cool hack you can do is to just rephrase one of the questions and maybe post it in a Facebook group that's full of people who are likely to be your perfect followers, people who are in your market that you could serve at a higher level. And then just compile all those responses to discern what the most popular answer is. That's what I did with the Instagram book. I was like, hey, do you guys want to learn how to use Facebook to grow your podcast? Do you want to learn how to use email lists to grow your podcast? Do you want to learn how to use Instagram to grow your podcast? Or do you want to learn how to use like lead magnets to grow your podcast? And it was like a significant amount of people were like, Instagram, I want to use. So I was like, all right, Instagram it is. So here are some of the questions that you could ask your perfect audience, perfect followers, in order to understand what their struggles are and also figure out what their dreams are. So first question you could ask is literally just, what is the biggest problem when it comes to, whatever the specific topic is? The second question is, what frustrates you the most about this? Another question is, if your problem wasn't solved, like what might be like the humiliating result that would come from it? This kind of allows them to talk about what they would feel if they didn't achieve the result. And that helps for like copywriting purposes later on. You can ask, what's the cost of not solving this problem right now? If things didn't change, how bad would they get? What are the top 3 things that frustrate you daily? And then what are the top 3 things that you don't want to keep doing? Like maybe there's tasks that they don't want to keep doing, and then you could come in with your product and it's like, hey, we'll do those things for you. Pardon me. You could ask them, what do you want to achieve more than anything else? What does success look like to you? And then this one's really good. I've heard people use this question all the time. but they use it all the time because it works really well. You could ask them, if it was a year from today, it's been the best year of your life, what would need to happen? What would you need to accomplish in order for that to happen? And with those questions, you'll be able to gather like such great data on how you can like serve your audience at like a much deeper level. So most of the questions, they are focused on understanding the person's current pain points, and the reason why is because essentially, like when we're hurting, there's almost nothing that can take our focus away from the pain. I don't know if any of you have ever had like your teeth hurting before. You can't think of anything else other than the pain of your teeth hurting. There's actually a saying that says, like, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's like a pebble in the shoe is more problematic than a war across seas. And essentially, basically what I'm trying to get at with that phrase is that people are more concerned about their current pains than anything else. So there's actually a twofold benefit to helping someone who is in massive pain. The first benefit is that serving someone who's in pain means that you're able to market to someone who's really eager to get help. Tell a man with lower back pain that you can alleviate that pain, and they'll be like, how? Tell me how. Where do I got to go? What do I got to do? But if you try to tell someone who's like nice and comfortable in a chair that like, hey, stand up for a sec, they'll be like, they don't even want to lift a finger, let alone stand up. So they're very eager to like jump at what the thing is that you have to offer. And then the second benefit of helping someone who's hurting is that helping someone who's in pain is like, you're actually like really helping someone. You're actually really helping to make a difference in someone's life. No one's like rooting for the rich man to get richer, but everyone loves like that underdog who makes it big. So you get to be the person that helps someone else make it big, So this information right now that you would gather from people, it's going to be the foundation of everything that you're going to build your content off of. It's going to be the foundation that'll help you decide what products or services to provide. It'll be the foundation of your marketing and your messaging as you begin to like write ads and create captions for your posts. And having this information, I'm telling you, it's going to really propel you much further than ever before. So go out there, go build rapport with your audience, ask them questions, start brainstorming how you can make a difference. So thanks so much for listening to this episode. I look forward to seeing how you're going to impact the world, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.